For the majority of October, I've actually been photographing autumn with my Mamiya 645 medium format film camera, and I've actually really enjoyed the process. However, I do feel that sometimes you just can't beat a digital camera for photography, especially if you want to try and get creative, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. So keeping that in mind, I've come to a patch of ancient woodland in South Northumberland, and I'm heading out with minimal gear, and I'm going to try and photograph the last impressions of autumn by using a creative digital photography technique. Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Now, as I said at the start of this video, what I'm planning to do today is I'm planning to use a creative photography technique, and what I'm planning to actually do is shoot multiple exposures in camera using my Fujifilm X-T5. Now, I was actually planning to use my new OM Systems camera. However, that will only allow you to shoot 2 shots in multiple exposure, whilst the Fujifilm X-T5 will allow me to shoot 9 shots. And really, I think 2 shots whilst would work for the technique. What I'm doing today, I really want to try and combine the 9 shots. Now, essentially what I'm trying to do today with these shots is I'm going to take 9 separate shots of the same subject, which are all combined into one single shot. Now, I'm shooting handheld, and by the very nature of shooting handheld, that means that they won't be framed up exactly the same. And as such, you'll get this lovely, soft, dreamy, out of focus look to the shots, where you'll be able to know exactly what it is, but it'll almost be like an impressionist view. Think ICM photography, where you're sort of moving a camera to take a shot. Well, this is pretty much the same, but by combining the 9 separate shots all together into one single file, I will hopefully create something that just looks a bit more like a painting as opposed to a photograph. And I'm going to demonstrate straight away with this first shot. Now, you're probably wondering why I've got this cable hanging off of the camera. Well, that is simply so I can record what I'm doing, so you can see what's actually happening on the screen. So let's switch to live view and let's have a look. So I'm thinking about there is your standard shot. There's a bit of colour going on. And I'm happy with that. And now all I'm going to do is pretty much keep on taking the same shot and just pressing OK every time, because what's happening is I am slightly moving. So the composition's never going to be the same. Now, obviously if I was doing this on a tripod, it would be the same every time, so that it just wouldn't work, because my positioning is slightly changing every time I take a shot. Hopefully what we've got there is a nice impressionist view of the trees in front of me. Now I've got a little bit of sun on this shot, so I'm hoping this may actually work a little bit nicer. I might be able to go a bit wider. I think I quite like having the bottom of the trees in, so we're going to go for this. So here we go. So I'm going to do the same again. I am pretty much just going to go straight through, take a shot, press OK, take a shot, press OK, take a shot, press OK. By pressing OK, what I'm doing is I'm confirming to the camera that I'm happy with the shot I've just taken. Now, to be honest, I'm not too worried. As long as they're all pretty close and my composition's OK to start off with, I think it'll work fine. As you can see, it allows me to compose, so I'm going to try and get as close as I can. Or else it just starts looking a bit chaotic, which it's already doing to us. Whoa. I think, as you can see, not every shot is actually going to work. But again, that's why we're using a digital camera to take it. Now, you could do this on film. Of course you could. There's absolutely no reason at all why you couldn't use film for this technique. But just think of the cost involved for all the cock-ups you make and all the shots that don't work. But yeah, you know what? It's great fun, and I'm just going to have a bit more of a play, I think, and see what I can manage to take. Right, this has got to be a good subject. Going in for quite a tight crop. Same drill. I'm pretty much just taking a shot, clicking OK. Now there may not be as much movement on this one because I'm actually balancing on the bridge. Which could actually not be a good thing, because I think the slight movement is what helps the shots to get that sort of dreamy look about them. Right, so we're the same tree, different angle. I'm just going to I'm purposely trying to keep it quite abstract, to be honest. I am going to bring the aperture up to f7.1, not that it particularly needs it. So as you can see, I'm actually out with an Olympus user today. I'm out with David Taylor. He's out for a bit of a jolly. He's not filming any videos, which I think is quite disgraceful. Right, David.
Hello. Yes.
It occurred to me, as I said to the viewers, that I was planning to use an OM Systems camera today, but it only does 2 shots for multiple exposures.
Okay.
Now, as I explained to them, I was using the Fuji because it takes 9 shots combined. But okay. I don't think there's any reason why you can't get a nice result only using 2 shots, to be honest.
Yes.
So so basically your challenge is produce me a nice photo, multiple exposure shot.
With 2 shots. With
2 shots. Obviously, take as many shots as you need to take to get one that you like,
yeah,
but
quite a few.
Which I think that's the key, really, with this technique is don't expect to go out and take the first shot and the first shot to look good, because
yeah, I think you have to experiment, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
what works, what doesn't work.
I think 90% of them probably will look absolute pants.
99% of mine probably will.
But you know, so let's see. As you've got a camera with you, that will do it.
Okay.
Let's see how it does. So have a play, and by the magic of YouTube, here's the shot. Now this is quite interesting because we've got a bit of railing, so a bit of a man-made subject, and obviously the lovely autumn colours there. Dropping that down to f4 ISO 500, a bit of grain doesn't matter, ISO 800, f5. As you can see, I'm pretty much just trying to click OK as I take the shot, because I think just my natural amount of movement is enough to create that sort of dreamlike look that I really want to achieve. Right, so as you can hopefully see, we've got the river running here. We've got these lovely gold medallions hanging off these trees here. Again, I'm going to try and lose the sky. I think if you want to create anything that's sort of got an abstract feel about it, losing the sky is always quite a good start. So I'm going to lose the sky on this. Almost, I may even come in at a square crop and see how that looks. Let's have a look. Yeah, square crop every day, I think. Look at the shapes of that tree. The only problem is I'm balancing on a rock. Which means I'm probably actually moving slightly more than I want to be moving. So I'm going to reposition myself. I think what I'm finding is what's working best is me trying to keep as stable as possible. Now obviously if this camera was on a tripod it wouldn't be any good because every shot would be the same. But by the very act of me trying to keep myself in a position that I can't move too much, i.e. sitting on a rock, legs spaced out nicely, and then I'm using my legs to balance a bit like you would on a tripod. And now I'm going to try the same again. Now I'm not going to overly wrapped up on positioning. As long as I'm somewhere near. Now the majority of cameras on the market now have a multiple exposure modes. And the only ones I can think of which are a bit more limited are obviously the OM systems, which let you only take 2 shots. And I believe Sony doesn't have a multiple exposure mode at all. However, if you have a camera that doesn't do this, or if you just want to take more than 2 or even more than 9 shots, what you can actually do is you can actually just fire as normal in your camera in a normal mode, take as many shots as you want, and then just import them into Photoshop or similar software and stack them all as layers, and then you can just set the layer opacity to whatever you desire, and you can create the same sort of effect. And actually you can have a lot more control, but obviously it will take a lot longer to do. But yeah, I've seen lots of work which is done that way and it looks really, really nice. Right guys, there you have it. So David, did you enjoy yourself?
Strangely, yes. It's not really a technique I use that often, but if ever. But yeah, no, it was quite good fun.
Yeah, and I think fun's the key, isn't it? Because I don't use it very often, but it's fun. And I think this video, guys, what I want to really try and get over to you is the fact that whilst you see me out sometimes with a tripod and taking ages about composing a shot or whatever, sometimes it's nice just to pick a camera up, go out and play with it and not look for maybe a shot that represents what you saw, but a shot that represents what you felt.
Yeah, getting all arty.
Getting all arty, yeah. So, shall we do that on one of our workshops? Shall we have an arty moment?
Possibly. Oh, I'm always up for an arty moment. Yeah.
Yes, guys, as you probably know, but shall tell you anyway, me and David have just announced the schedule for the 2026 Northumberland Photography Workshops. There is a link below, and I'll put one up in this corner now for you to click onto if you wish. Shall we go home?
I think so. My hands are getting cold, so yeah.
Brilliant, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'll see you next week for something completely different. Thanks for watching.
Bye.